The employees who attended this week's hearings in Crest Hill and in Lincoln have every right to be upset. It's been a disorganized process, and they deserve reliable answers and legitimate responses to their concerns. We're also talking about a prison population that is shrinking statewide, and plans to rebuild and add more space at Crest Hill, the numbers don't make sense.
That's State Senator Sen DeWit during a Committee on Forecasting and Accountability for Illinois, COGFA, Commission on Forecasting and Accountability, during a meeting where they were talking about closing Stateville and also Logan Correctional Center. It is Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop. Stateville is being ordered to transfer their inmates to other prisons across the state by the end of September. That after a judge ordering that on Friday, and gives us a chance to go back and take a look at some of the conversation around this when it comes to what could be a $900 million cost to taxpayers to tear down Stateville and also Logan and rebuild both. What's going on now with a Friday ruling from a federal judge? Let's take a look at that. If you follow the Center Square, you saw this story that Katrina Peterson put together. Illinois legislator raises concerns about court orders to close Stateville Prison. And you'll see there, it goes into a case that originated back in 2013. The plaintiff, Lester Dobby, was an inmate in custody at the Stateville Correctional Facility. He complained of unsanitary vermin in inmates' living units and common areas, unbearable fluorescent lighting preventing inmates from getting proper sleep, and unsanitary living conditions. So since then, you've had, of course, in the past few months, Governor Pritzkers' administration announcing that they're going to tear Stateville down. And they're also going to tear down Logan. And these are two different types of prisons. One's a men's max, and the other one's a multi-security for women. So the case in 2013, unsanitary conditions in Stateville. Then this year, you've got the governor saying we're going to spend $900 million replacing two prisons and rebuilding those prisons. Judge Andrea Wood, federal judge in the Northern District, Friday said that it's time to move these inmates out by the end of September. She said in her ruling that there's a probable risk of irreparable harm for variety of things: falling concrete attributed to deteriorating masonry walls, ceilings, steel beams, and window lintels at Stateville, and a lack of adequate remedy at law. She goes on to say that rather than order the state or the Department of Corrections to complete extensive repairs, obviously at taxpayer cost, needed to protect the class members from the risk of irreparable harm posed by the deteriorating masonry in Stateville, the court instead is requiring the department to accomplish what it's publicly reported and recommended it would do, namely moving forward with closing Stateville by transferring class members to other facilities. So this really gives the Pritzker administration the green light, but you've got some pushing back with the idea of how this is ultimately going to play out and the impacts on communities. So the Commission on Government Forecasting and Accountability, it's a truly bipartisan state legislative body, equal parts Democrats, equal parts Republicans, equal members from the House and Senate, making a truly bipartisan commission. And what they do is they review audits, they review economic projections, they review a whole host of things, but they're also responsible for facility closures. So if a state agency says we're closing this facility, COGFA holds public hearings to talk about the economic impact for those areas, the impacts to whoever is a constituent utilizing those services, or the impacts to employees of those state agencies. And when you get an announcement of two prisons being closed, COGFA has to step in and hold public hearings. And they had these public hearings several months ago. Widely attended public hearings. They had one at the around the Stateville facility up north, and then they had one at the Logan facility in Lincoln, just north of Springfield by about 40 minutes. And they were packed. Employees there, members of the AFSCME union there opposing this move, legislators on COGFA asking questions, trying to get answers. And they didn't get too many answers, but you've got the recognition here that there's going to be the need for some rehab, in particular for Stateville. State Representative C.D. Davidsmeyer, he's co-chair of COGFA, and in June he shared this after touring the facilities, and in particular Stateville.
Stateville is beyond disrepair. I agree that we should continue to operate Stateville while we build. We should make Stateville a priority to rebuild right now, immediately. Put a rush on it. We should continue to work on Lincoln, and they're currently spending $23 million at Lincoln to fix the place up. So they are drastically different facilities. You've got a men's max versus a women's multi-tier facility.
So clearly, there seems to be some recognition Stateville needs to be torn down and replaced. But the economic consequence, something that COGFA is obviously very interested in unpacking, and here's Davidsmeyer talking about that economic consequence.
It will certainly cost more to build it up north. It will cost more to find individuals, train individuals, get individuals in those facilities. As we look at this, we have to think about the impact on families. And I agree, the incarcerated individuals as well as the employees of those facilities who have dedicated their lives to the state of Illinois and to corrections.
And the other things that you got to think about too is if they're going to tear down a prison and replace that prison, is that prison space necessary? Again, here is State Senator Sen DeWit talking about the impacts on employees of these facilities, but also just the overall impacts of, do we need more prison space in the state of Illinois?
The employees who attended this week's hearings in Crest Hill and in Lincoln have every right to be upset. It's been a disorganized process, and they deserve reliable answers and legitimate responses to their concerns. We're also talking about a prison population that is shrinking statewide, and plans to rebuild and add more space at Crest Hill, the numbers don't make sense.
So DeWitt trying to make sense of it, closing a prison and rebuilding it, but if the prison population continues to decline, what's going to happen? We're just going to have no fulfillment of building a new prison. So legislator concerned, of course, of what happens here moving forward, but the judge's ruling on Friday out of the Northern District was not opposed by the state. The Department of Corrections put out a statement essentially saying that they're moving forward. They've got their timeline, and the department previously indicating to the Commission on Government Forecasting and Accountability that it would not begin to wind down operations at the Stateville Correctional Center until at least 180 days from filing its notice to COGFA. So that timeline, rather interesting. We'll see how this does play out and keep you updated here with Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop. Thank you for being part of the program each and every weekday morning. And the timing of the announcement Friday, here's Sen DeWit talking a bit about that yesterday.
Either just dumb luck or extremely convenient that a judge has kind of taken the burden off the governor's back.
So that's what's the latest with Stateville, Logan, the prison closure announcements, where we're at, how much it's going to cost, and how this is going to play out. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Join us each and every weekday morning for Illinois in Focus Daily.